Today, we're here to open a new Scudder Pavilion to celebrate the opening of that, and as well as all of those projects that we have accomplished in the last 25 years, and of those projects yet to be completed. When I was asked to kind of represent this group, I was thinking of a few things, what to say, and that word, who defines us, really kind of captured my attention. We speak a lot of languages in this world. There are a lot of cultures. They are unique. They are different. That makes us, all of us, very unique in a way that we're part of that greater world. But that's a word, hana. Hana shows up in a lot of languages. In Hawaiian, they made it even more beautiful by just saying hana, by adding a letter, O. And it sounds ohana. In Hawaiian, ohana means family. And it's not family that you're connected by blood, but it is referred to the extended families that we often use as a camp cousin would be that of ohana. So as I said, when we open this pavilion, you'll notice that there are a lot of words in here. But I'd like to propose that we add one more word to it, and I brought a small piece, and there's a word, ohana, that representing who we are.
Sang said, the word family, we're all connected one way or the other, and I think that's another illustration of it. But let me tell you the story of Scudders. It's an exciting story. The story really is about Ida Scudder, who is the daughter and granddaughter of missionaries who spent their lives in India, being missionaries. This is in the 1800s. And her parents were hoping that Ida would come to India and would take on the family tradition of being missionaries. The last night that she spent in India, the next day she was coming back to U.S., was a very eventful night. They were all sleeping and at night, and there was a knock on the door, and Ida went and opened the door, and there was a man who was clearly in distress, who said, "Look, my wife is in labor. She is in terrible pain. Can you please come and help me take care of her?" Ida said, "Look, let me get the right person for that." Went and called her father, who was a doctor, and Ida said, "Here's my father, he's a doctor, he will take care of that." The man said, No, you don't understand. According to our traditions, only a woman can attend to my wife. No man can come near my wife, so you have to come. And Ida said, "Look, I like to help, but I'm just got out of college. I don't have any skills. I'll be useless. So I really cannot come." The man was clearly very disappointed, but left. They all went back to bed, and a little time later, knock on the door, and a second man comes with the same story. "My wife is in great pain. Can you please come?" Again, she tried to have her father. Man said no, and Ida said no, and the man went away. A little time later, a third man comes with the same story. The next morning, when they got up, they found out that all three women had died the night before. And Ida took this as a sign from God and said, "I am going to be a missionary, but I'm going to do it for health care for women in India." So she came back to U.S., and she graduated in 1899 in the first class from Cornell Medical School that admitted women. Became a doctor, had raised some money from friends, went back to India, and opened up a small dispensary for women. She turned out to be a very enterprising person, and that little dispensary grew to be one of the largest healthcare facilities in India today. She opened up a medical college, medical school first for women, and then later they admitted men. The hospital, they had also built a hospital by then, and by then they had started treating men also, opened up a nursing school, opened up a school for allied health professionals, and opened up a facility to give rural health care, because many of the families don't come to a hospital in a place like India. You have to go out there to give health care. So that place today, it's called Vellore Christian Medical College and Hospital. It's one of the largest healthcare facilities in India, for that matter in Asia. What Ida created has become an incredible institution in India. Ida stayed on and we didn't have the title CEO, but effectively was the CEO until 1960 when she passed away. I often wondered, when I think about that story, I think about the young, single, good-looking woman, Ida Scudder, standing on the docks in 1899, waiting to board the ship to take her to India to start all this. And I've often wondered, what must have gone through her mind at that time. She could have stayed here. She could have gotten married. She could have had kids. She could have been an important person in the society and led a life of comfort and maybe even luxury. And on the other side is this life of going back to India, of the land of heat and dust and humidity and all those things that she didn't like, but much more importantly, for a single woman to accomplish some things in a very male-dominated society. It must have been very, very difficult at every step of the way. And that was the two choices in that inflection point in her life. And I've always wondered, what were the thoughts in her mind as she was waiting to board that ship? Because once you are on that, you're pretty much charting a particular path. Well, she boarded the ship, and she made that choice of being other-centered, of thinking about someone else's needs and putting the needs of others ahead of her own comfort and having a longer time horizon. In other words, choosing the long-term good for others as opposed to the shorter-term conveniences or pleasures of self. And I think that is the essence of being a good Presbyterian, a good Christian, and a good human being. And on this day that you're dedicating the Scudder building, that's my wish for all of us, that when we have those inflection points in our life, big or small, that we have the courage to choose like Ida did.
And so recognizing that stepping away from home, being at camp is one of those places where inflection can happen, where little ideas can turn into a medical college and a hospital or a family. We are grateful to add this place back into the inventory of resources we have at Holmes. We recognize the spark that brought Sang to think about the first project and the 25th project. We think about Paul and the way he puts things together, and Alice and Chip and everybody else with or without a green hat who contributed to this project. You have enriched what happens here at summer camp. We add this back to the facilities that are being used to build people's faith, to give them the groundwork to be ready to say, yes, I'll go to India. Yes, I'll be back to help on a special project. Yes, I will follow a life of faith in one way or another. And so we're really excited to welcome you to this place. Sang may be setting up the ribbon in just a moment. We'll do a cutting, and then you're all welcome to come inside. So thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for contributing to Holmes. Thank you for contributing your story to the Holmes story and letting us know about the ways these moments here have changed your life and will change lives in the days going ahead. So thank you all very much. Thank you, George, for being here with us and telling us that inspirational story. May your spark take you to as bright a place and as big a place as Ida Scudder.
We took on a challenge to raise the funding on our own to build this project, and we accomplished that. And to that, if you're wearing those green hats, and for those who is not wearing it, but were involved, please raise your hand and be recognized. Job well done. It's appreciated. We're going to be all counting from 10. We know how to do this. 3, 2, 1, cut! Welcome. Scudder Pavilion is now officially open for use. Thanks for everybody coming and being part of this historical moment.